Hey, thanks for taking the time to talk. Why did you want to participate in the project?
I felt really drawn to the poem by Emily Dickinson and really drawn to the theme of hope, especially during a time where things have felt really hopeless.
I wanted to participate in the project because I really admire how much Emily loves poetry. I love being a part of creative projects and I want to support my friends and I love getting tattooed.
I wanted to participate for so many different reasons. First of all, just to support Emily as an artist and as a creative. I also was a part of the first version of this project as well. And so when I saw that Emily was creating another one, I absolutely knew that I had to be a part of it. I love the idea of it. It is such a human idea to be able to be connected.
When I first saw what Emily was doing, it really intrigued me and captivated me because I liked the idea of one piece of prose connecting 22 different people with different walks of life and different stages of life, and just bringing everyone together and being part of something bigger than just me.
I wanted to participate in the project because I always felt drawn to tattoos and poetry as separate entities and separate art forms. And I really felt drawn to see how Emily was going to combine those two passions and those two styles into one cohesive piece.
I wanted to participate in this project first and foremost because I've always really loved tattoo projects in general. I think there is a very cool it's a very cool environment to just like have a group of people with similar taste and style and interest in a common art form to have on their bodies permanently. I think this one in particular I really wanted to participate in because it did show up in a time that felt like the only way forward was community and being a part of a weird little community that will probably never meet, but has, this uniting, these uniting traits was something that really appealed to me.
I really loved the uniqueness of the project. It just immediately grabbed my attention. I've never seen a project quite like this before, and just that uniqueness that I wanted to be a part of that and that creative process and getting a tattoo that has meaning, but the meaning isn't necessarily very obvious at first glance. It serves as a really great conversation starter.
So when Emily released the first iteration of the project, I was super duper interested in it, but it was just not right place, right time. Some time passed, and when the second iteration rolled around, and it was Emily Dickinson, and it was specifically a stanza about hope, which my middle name is Hope. So I was super drawn to it. And it did happen to be right place, right time because Emily was in Brooklyn. I really was like, well, gotta hop on this while I can. And I was able to get the word without.
How does it feel having a connection to 22 strangers?
It feels really special that 22 other people were drawn to the same project. When I saw the project, I felt really inspired to let go of things from my past and to look for hope for the future. So knowing that 22 other people joined this project and felt drawn to this poem feels really special.
I feel really fulfilled when I'm a part of community projects like this, especially with people that I know personally. And it's nice knowing that I have this connection with people who believe in the same things that I do, who enjoy art.
It feels so human and so satisfying to have that connection. I work in the food service industry, and so I'm talking to hundreds of people a day, but there's never any proof of that, any tangible proof of it. So to have this permanent proof on my body, almost a proof of life, that 22 strangers all came together and we all decided to be a part of something, it's so sweet. It feels just so truly human for all of us to appreciate art and to appreciate people and be like, yeah, let's do this. I want to hold each other's hands, essentially. It's so sweet.
It feels really neat. I think that at the root of my belief system, I have a strong belief of the interconnectedness of all things and people. And I think that having this like tangible expression of being connected to 22 strangers is really special.
It feels really awesome to have a connection with 22 strangers, getting to know myself through this exchange of art and literature, and also seeing how the project in a whole has crossed so many different mediums and so many different people and their appreciation for history and art, culture, and poetry. It's a real sense of community in a different way.
It feels very nice to be a part of this project because I think there's a part of having this ink on my skin that makes me feel less alone, in that there's a group of 22 random strangers just walking around that have the same connection to the same poem, to the same artist as me. And even if there's a chance that there will be a chance encounter between us sometime and we'll have something in common, and that we cared enough to go get a piece of poetry tattooed on our bodies forever.
It's just amazing how we all managed to find connection with Emily's work, and something about it resonated within all of us, and being inspired by the same thing at the same time, despite being in different places and stages within our lives. And it just makes this world feel a little less lonely to know that I have 22 kindred spirits out there, even if I'll never meet them or know them.
Oh my God, it's so neat. It's whenever I explain like the poetry project to other people, when they're like, why do you have "without" tattooed on the back of your arm? I get to like explain how like 22 other people have like a different piece of this poem. And I think it's so cool. I don't know if I'll ever come across these people in the world, but if I do, like, wouldn't that be so neat? It's like, oh, what part of the poem do you have? And then you can kind of like piece it together from there. I always thought that was cool.
What are you hopeful for?
I'm hopeful for a world that is kinder and more accepting of queer and trans joy. Things right now seem pretty hopeless, with policies being changed and my loved ones being attacked for being who they are. And I am hopeful that things will get better for us and for future generations.
So the tattoo community has changed a lot over the last few years, and I'm hopeful tattoo artists will continue to support and teach each other and become an even stronger community.
I am hopeful for hope. There is a lot going on right now, very beginning of 2025, and it is hard to hold out for hope. But I am hopeful for the change that could happen and that I'm hoping will happen, so that that can give me a little bit more of hope. So it makes waking up every day just a little bit easier.
I'm hopeful that people will start to care more about the earth and resources and their communities and each other.
So I'm hopeful that this project will lead me to meeting more people who share my values and my beliefs, and that the project is inspiring others to get more involved with their communities and for them to stay true to who they are, find who they want to be, and to know that they don't have to chase the people who know exactly where to find them within that community.
I'm hopeful for community, and I think people realizing the importance of community more than ever before. I don't think anyone is going to get to the next for however many years without leaning on the people around them and engaging with people through art and music and all of those things. So I think what gives me hope is that that I have a lot of people in my life that care about me and that I care about, and that we're going to be able to get through it together.
I think the thing I'm the most hopeful for, if I'm going to center myself in all of this, given the state of the world, I'm going to just have to remove myself from that. I think that my biggest hope is to be happy. I think my biggest hope is that as I'm moving forward in the world, I'm making it a nicer, kinder, gentler place for myself and the people I love and cherish.
I mean, there's a lot of fear going around right now, And I feel like that can paralyze us into inaction. So I'm hopeful that this fear and despair people are feeling doesn't paralyze them into inaction, but motivates them to action, especially, within building community. I'm really hopeful that as bad as it is and as terrible as it might get, that as long as we have hope, then we can't really lose.